Let me just tell you something we heard last summer. Last summer, we had what we call a general chapter of the congregation. So we have representatives from all of the countries we're in. So we were about 43 with the general superior and the council, the administrative leadership team of the order, and then about 35 other sisters. And it's very notable that the we're divided into provinces or regions, geographical areas. The sisters in the northern hemisphere, which would be like Belgium, Canada, the two US provinces, so we have two for England. We are older in chronological age, and almost because of the society we're living in a way, and the way young people have had more opportunities in life than a long time ago, we do have fewer vocations. Now, there are a lot of vocations in the Southern Hemisphere, from Congo, Rwanda, Cameroon, Tanzania, Brazil. And there was a sister of another religious order. She was the facilitator for our meeting. And one day she said to us, because we were all interacting, so we had people in that room who were, I guess the oldest sister there was probably in her late 70s. And then we had delegates from the Southern Hemisphere who were in their late 20s, their 30s. So you have this big gap, chronological. But we were all very much sisters of St. Mary, wanting and desiring the same thing. And the facilitator looked around the room one day and she said, you know what? She said, you are a young congregation because of your internationality, which makes you young, because you are one with sisters from the Southern Hemisphere who are very numerous. And so as a congregation, I think that's really something very distinctive about us, is our internationality and our real connection with one another. So one thing, my hope for the future is, I truly believe that the church and religious life is now growing in the Southern Hemisphere, and I believe it's going to continue. Our sisters are just extraordinary with what they have to deal with on a daily basis, just to survive and to make ends meet. I have a lot of hope for our congregation because of them. And in the Northern Hemisphere, something that we've had for some years now, we have oblates, and I think I may have mentioned that to you before, who for me give me a lot of hope. They have not entered our religious order as consecrated women religious, but they make promises. And when you talk to one or another of them, you will hear what their commitments are. But they're growing in their knowledge of who we are, and they seem more and more committed to us. And I just feel we're one with them. And I think the phenomena of our world is, in our universal world, we have different realities in the different countries. And I believe here, I'm not saying we won't have other women join us, which we will, and I hope we will. They will be fewer who will decide that they're called to consecrated religious life in the order, like me and like our vowed sisters. There may be some who feel the call to remain single and dedicate their lives within the congregation along another path, a way of living our charism and who we are. So I have hope. I really do have a lot of hope for the consecrated women religious, but also for our oblates. And in the different countries, like in Belgium, they have some oblates now. In Canada, they do too. And I think that's something that corresponds a lot to the calls that certain women have today in the church and in the world. And so I do have hope.